All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. So let's click resume. Now, last time we had messed around with quality modules, and so I have like this set up basically as a thing. I don't know how much I'm going to actually end up doing with quality modules. But I think just like making a lot of tier 2 productivity modules will probably just be fine. So we can just set this side up to do that, and that'll be marginally better than what we're currently doing. And then once we have a good amount, then we can start using them for things. I think for now we're going to be working on the tier 2 quality modules, just because that'll get this whole thing set up a lot faster. And so the big problem that we have with quality modules, which is why I'm not sure that I'm going to use a whole lot of them, is basically this. So we have a lot of regular red circuits, which are just backing up all the way and preventing the tier 2 red circuits from even making it to the box where we are filtering them out, which is kind of awkward. Alright, anyways, let's I need to set this up to make tier 2 productivity modules, or quality 2 productivity modules as it is. And then let's give those some of that to make it even better. And then just have you output into a box. So hopefully this will be something. And I don't know which one of these is actually going to get priority. It's hard to say. But we are just cooking along now. And eventually this might... Yeah, so I mean the problem is we need to keep just like a steady consumption of red circuits, otherwise nothing will ever happen with the uncommon red circuits, and likewise with green circuits. Although the green circuits are going to be drained by the red circuits, so that's probably not a major issue. But we want to have that. Where are you guys going? Oh, you're doing science stuff, right. Okay, so that's good. Rocket silo is going. Rocket silo is going. Quality modules are going. And let's see, what do these do? Those are 1.3% as opposed to 1% each, which I guess is a decent improvement, but it's not great. So, let's see, what else do we want to be doing? Having some of these assorted things like rail signals and chain signals automated would be nice, as well as train stops. Yeah, really just like getting train related things automated would be pretty neat. And we can do that while we wait for science to go. It looks like we're mostly waiting on blue science, which doesn't seem to be... Well, it seems to be waiting on engines. So we can give you some productivity modules, and that'll make you more engine efficient, which will be quite nice. Because I assume... No, you are technically still going. We might have enough engines, actually. It's hard to say. If we do have enough engines, we've just needlessly slowed down Blue Science production. If we don't have enough engines, then that will be marginally helpful. And these look like they're going fine for all their inputs, so we're not going to touch them. Alright, so train stops is iron plates, steel plates, iron sticks, electronic circuits. So this has electronic circuits and steel plates on this belt, but we don't have any iron plates anywhere that I can see. The iron plates are over here. Yeah, okay, so this is basically where it gets to be just a gigantic mess. If we move the iron plates forwards up this way, we can turn them somewhere. I really just want to have requester chests so that I can use drones to do all of this stuff. Alright, we just need to get this forwards. That's going to be goal number one. Don't put it on that belt. So if we send it here, it's going to run into that pipe. Can we... Is that still connected? Yes, it is. So this can go underneath like that. And then I guess if we go up here, there's no way that this is going to fit, right? Oh, actually, it does. So you can go under there, and then over there, and then under that. Alright, now we take that out with us. And we can take down those walls. Alright, so we need to make iron sticks for this, which should be pretty easy. So our input belt is there. We just need this to be somewhere down here. Why are all these random trees just in the way? Alright, so you are going to be making iron sticks. And you get powered. And then you will be outputting back up this way, I think. So then we have that. And we have that going across. So you are set to make train stops. And you should have everything you need. So we get those. We get belts. And we get the other two things. And then we get a passive provider chest. So that is that. I only need like a stack of them. Actually, let's go two stacks since they're pretty cheap. Then we need rail signals, which we can just continue along this way. Cyan, hello. We are automating the crafting of train supplies. So we get rail signals done. And then they just get output to a box, which we're going to limit to like 2 stacks. And then we have chain signals, which are the same, basically. So we can just have these belts continue along and then go into there. and output into a box. So these we do not need that many of. Let's have it be 2 stacks again. Now we can add all of these to the drones. So I want just like 1 stack of each. And those. Alright. So that is all set up. And then should probably just have some turret coverage up here because we had to move past our previous defensive walls to get here. There. So that is that, and hopefully those will be enough. I don't expect to need that much turret coverage in this area. Did I lock myself in? I did. Fantastic. Alright, so that is that. So this is all going, and it's basically finished. At least those are basically finished. So then, for the locomotives, we need engine units, steel plates, and gear wheels. Alright. So, we need steel plates, electronic circuits, and engine units. We have steel plates and electronic circuits there. Oh, this is so awful. I think we just probably stick to manual crafting the trains for now. For now. We're going to change that in hopefully near future. But for this exact moment, it's fine. Okay, do I want to make... I might want to make speed modules. Like, some of these are being major limiting factors that it would be real cool if I could just speed module them. Let's see. Fighters are still just running into walls. Perfectly fine with that. So let's head back up here. Purple science is more or less backlogged. So that's cool. And we have our tier 2 productivity modules starting to show up occasionally. Although not very frequently. We really just need to use more red circuits. So what in here even uses red circuits that we can make? We can make substations, I guess. Those would be helpful. Steel plates, copper cables, advanced circuits. So steel plates and copper cables are both down here, as are advanced circuits. But they're not quite in the same location. So we're gonna have to figure that out. What's this? Why are you like that? That probably was just more after effects of when I was messing around with that. It's probably not like an active problem. Alright, how do we get all this stuff lined up? So I guess the first step is we can try to get the steel plates and copper cables onto one belt, because that will make them a lot easier to deal with. So let's actually bring you down there, and then across that way. And then we have like that. Okay, this just doesn't have enough space. So you can go down like that. You need to be in there. Now, if we have you go around this way, that's still not the side that I want it to be on. I want it to be on the other side so that I can just pop this down into it. Alright, what if we just do... How do we get these over here? Basically, if we can get them over to this spot, then we're in good shape. But are these even gonna reach? No, they're not. Alright, so that's just doomed from the start. That is just doomed. But we can bring it down this way, and there will be space here. So this curves around like that, and somehow that works. So that's nice, I guess. And then we have to get these like down to here, where they can actually, this might, no, because we don't have enough space to output them up there. Alright, what if we just take that guy out and replace it somewhere else? Actually, this whole area seems like it's covered anyways, except for that tiny gap over there, so we can just like, we can just put you there and then power you, and now we have probably enough space. So you come along that way, you come along that way. Now we get those two on a belt, which we can then bring forwards over to here. And now we just need to, of course that new drone port that I just placed is in exactly the wrong spot. You can just shift over there, and you should still cover that one passive provider chest that we need you to cover. Alright, now I can just put in there one of you and get all of those guys powered up. Then you are going to make substations and output to there and get powered up. There we go. Substation's done. Let's get 2 stacks of storage of that, and then 1 stack to my inventory. So that exists now. What else do we have? Are these all copper cable electric circuits? Yes, until we get to these couple over here. Alright, well we have electronic circuits and copper cable pretty close for a while, but we need more space. So we can have you go under that, and then come across to there, and then, no, stop it. Don't do whatever it is that you were doing there. I want you to just go through that gap. And then you all get connected up. And let's bring you over this way a bit more to not be in the way of that drone port. And then we can have like 3 of these guys who are going to be doing this whole thing. So So this needs to go a little bit further forwards. And then we just need to get all of these powered. So you are arithmetic combinators, decider combinators, and constant combinators. And then they can all output up top. Boom, boom, boom. Give you a power pole or two. And please don't make too many of these. We hardly ever need them. So we just go like that. And this one didn't get both of the inserters. So there we go. Now we can add those to the list of things that we have a stack of, which probably not going to use them frequently, but it's nice to just have them on hand in case we ever need them. Alright, so that is that. What else is there? We could be like upgrading our concrete stuff. Let's see here. We have pretty much most of this stuff automated, I think. And then there's that, which I don't really care about. Okay, so those are going. Let's see if we can get up here. And is this limited on the amount of engines it has? Or is it getting enough? This needs 0.03 engines. That's plenty. Assuming they aren't going anywhere else. Which they are. Oh, right, they're going down to feed all of these guys. So those guys are all productivity moduled. This one isn't, for some reason. Which I guess we can fix that. But maybe we actually don't want to productivity module them. Maybe we want to be using our red circuits for the whole quality thing that we're doing. Okay, how's power supply? Power supply is good. The old steam engines occasionally go during the nighttime, but other than that, we're not doing much. Okay, one thing which would be very, very cool to have would be higher quality electric poles, because they have like wider areas that they affect. So how can we... Steel plates, iron sticks, copper cables. So we would need to make high quality versions of all of those. I don't know. I think I'm probably just going to be sticking to our plan of not messing too much with that right now. So we can make our better productivity modules in very, very low numbers, but yeah, I've been messing around with it. I don't know how much I'm going to actually do, though, just because it's like hilariously inefficient to get anywhere. But like having electrical poles with larger supply area would be pretty neat. But I don't know how much effort I really want to put in to getting those going. Because then we would also have to figure out what to do with all the excess. Alright, if we go down here, we need theoretically a lot more accumulators in order to be balanced properly. We also... I want to just like build out power while we're not in a huge rush to do much else, while science is going. So we need more accumulators, and we also need to redesign our solar panel blueprint thing down here, because this doesn't have enough accumulators in it, and it also doesn't connect properly to itself. The quality on accumulator is the most for taking space. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, so let's go down here and let's see. I want to have, not that. Where is it? It's this one. So we want to like place this down somewhere where we can very easily tell where it ends and the next one begins, so that we can blueprint it correctly. And then we're going to have to just do the customization of it to get it all correct. So, first of all, we need all this stuff to get built. I imagine drones are coming from up here to do it. Yes, they are. So that should happen pretty soon. And gosh, if only I had buffer chests. If I had buffer chests, I could set up some stuff, because this area is going to be the solar panel area for the foreseeable future. But we're still working on it. Alright, so this is all built up. However, the problem is that these substations aren't connected across to each other because they're too far apart. So if we just take them out and move them in here, does this still cover everything on this side? Does it get all the way down to the middle? It does, and these two are connected up. So then where we actually need to put it is just right like in this corner here. So actually, how far out? Because the other thing is that we need them to connect across as well, not just internally, but we need these to like tile properly, and the substations need to connect to the substations outside for that. So let's get this one down here to do that. And we're tearing up a whole bunch of space on here, which is fine. Alright, so now that is set up like that. We need... oh wait, we need to not wall ourselves in. So we have something like that, and then we have this. So how far off do these need to go? So they need to go like 1, 2, 3 out, and then like to there in order to work, which they definitely don't. Okay, what if we have big electrical poles as well / instead of? So if we have a couple of these guys, and they are gonna take up some space, but only a 2x2, so we can just squeeze them in here with the capacitors. So let's go in there, get a big electrical pole, and then that needs to reach out to... Well, so it was 1, 2, 3 solar panels for this blueprint. 1, 2, 3 solar panels for the next blueprint over. And then the substation would be there. And the big electrical pole would be there. And that does connect. So that we can do that. Alright, that works then. So let's get those set up everywhere. Take down these extra solar panels. And then get all of you in. Actually, we can just have drones do that. Should have enough range for it. Alright, so that is, step 1 of having it able to connect across. And then we just need to increase the number of accumulators in here. So we can probably just take out these rows and replace them with accumulators. So something like that. And we're going to need even more than that, though. So we need a lot of accumulators in this system, because we need about as many accumulators as we have solar panels, which seems somewhat difficult. Okay, now the other thing is this extends out pretty far, so we could just add the accumulators around the edge, and they would still be within drone range, but they wouldn't be within range of the substations. But we could just add new substations, right? We could do something like that. But then there's all this wasted space, which I would want to probably replace with more accumulators. So this all gets torn out. And this corner, I need to be able to walk through there. So if we just have something like this, then we can fill that whole space with accumulators, possibly. And that is, no, those are off-centered. I can just barely reach in to get these if I'm standing in exactly the right spot. Alright, so this lines up properly with the size of the solar panels so that we have no wasted space. And then we just go out like that, and we're out of accumulators. So hopefully the drones are starting to show up to give me more of those, although they're gonna get to within 5 millimeters of me and then stop to recharge at the drone port, apparently. And unfortunately, it's just a long line of them doing all this. Alright, so we are going to get those, and then we need to place these as we get them so that the new drones will come to resupply us. Alright, so those all get queued up. And there was a little hidden space there that could fit an additional accumulator. Alright, so now we have a blueprint with a lot of accumulators and not that many solar panels, probably. So if I paste this, it's 132 accumulators, 80 solar panels. So we need more solar panels now. And what size even are the solar panels? They're like 3x3. So we can't super easily just replace these with solar panels. Although actually maybe we could in certain spots. So if we take out like that, then we can just like go like that, and that's not symmetrical, is it? No, it's not symmetrical. All right, let's undo that because being symmetrical is important. So if I add a new solar panel up here, it's too far away from the substations. But wait, actually, because I have these big electrical poles in here, I can move the substations further out. I can move the substations further out and have them still work. So if you go out to that spot, actually you can probably maybe even go further than that. No, because you need to get all the way down to that halfway mark. So, but if you are out here, is that still not enough? So we would need you to go all the way up to there in order for it to get an additional row in, which seems like it shouldn't work. So let's see if we, why can I not reach into there? So if we have this one out like that as well, then yeah, so this internal row here then doesn't work. All right, how do we fix that? We need the spacing to work out better than it does. There must be a better way. Maybe if we have, I feel like we just add more substations out here then, and just say that that's good enough. So if we have a substation like there, wait, no, that should probably line up, right? So it should probably be like right there. Then that can get a whole bunch of solar panels up here. And then, but you don't go all the way up to the halfway. Actually, you do, because these are solar panels and they're bigger. All right. So you get one of those. You get one of those. And then all of these solar panels go in. And then we would just have to do that on all sides, which would be a lot of solar panels and would also break into the range of this one, which I guess we can just do. And if you're up there, then you can be there, and you can be there, and then we fill in those extra spots, and we have to then run around and get the other side set up properly. So you need to get overwritten there, and then you need to become a substation. You get overwritten there, and then you become a substation. And then we need to start taking this solar panel array back so that we can fit the expansion. Alright, so then we have that, and we have this one go out in the same way like this, I think. Hang on, how does this work? So you are above this, out 2 solar panels, and then on a bit of a weird corner there. So you just need to go in the same spot over here, and the same spot over there. And then we just have to fill in all this space. And hope that it works. They are looking all powered up now. Okay, but wait, what gets... How do we get this top corner? That's just... looks like it's working because there's a substation there, right? Alright, if we go down here and set this up, will it still work when we're away from the rest of the whole power grid? So you go there, you go there, and this gets all lined up. Wait, that's not lined up correctly at all. There's supposed to be a little bit of a gap there. And then that goes out to there. Then we put this row in. And sure enough, the far outside corners don't fit. Okay, that's a little bit annoying. Also a little bit annoying that the drone delivering that solar panel is very, very far away. But I guess we can just... Let's see here. Let's figure out how many solar panels this is even going to be in total. So we have all of this... No, something got messed up in here. Alright, so we are going to just fill all of these in and then put the substations in. Now, can we get this? No, so these are basically as far to the outside as they can go. So we need that to be a substation. And we need this to be a substation. So now this covers in everything except like the far outside corners. And they're all connected up to each other. I think these big electrical poles are no longer necessary. Let's see here. If we get rid of those guys, then that should still be fine. And then let's see, what do we do about the corners? We could probably just leave them, or we can potentially use that space to put something put something in that space. I don't know what. But let's just chop those corners out and then make our blueprint. And hopefully this has a better-ish ratio of accumulators to solar panels. It's a lot larger of a blueprint, which is fine. Alright, so this is 180 solar panels, 136 accumulators. Now, is there a way of symmetrically adding some? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, so we can like take out that square and fill it with a 3x3 of accumulators, and then that is symmetrical. Although, is that internal row even going to be covered by the power grid? Yes, it is, by those substations inside there. Alright, so we can do that on all the sides, and then that will be good to go. So there we go. And then we just need like 2 more of those. So that all goes in like there. And 1 more side. And then we will have a nice symmetrical blueprint, which has at least a better ratio. It doesn't have to be perfect, but something like that. And now we scroll out, and so this is 172, 164. That's good enough. And they are just barely the right size that I can tile them. So that is pretty neat. So now let's just place down a completely absurd amount of solar power. And we are going to, I guess we'll just overwrite that. And we need a whole lot more accumulators to do this. And apparently a whole lot more construction bots as well. So that will have to be dealt with over time. But that should solve our power demands for the near future. Okay, that train is the copper. It's supposed to be there. That's good. Alright, so why are we short on 247 accumulators? And also, why are you guys bringing solar panels all the way down there? That seems ambitious. So we should now be crafting a whole bunch of accumulators. Oh, it's spiked up to 293 that we're missing. I guess we placed a drone port in. Alright, they keep discovering more and more that we need. Now we should just keep producing those, so it should get there eventually, although accumulator production doesn't seem to be extraordinarily fast off of one single machine, which is apparently it is working at full capacity, so that's nice. And there go all of the solar panels. And, alright, I think one thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to give this even more storage capacity so that when we do further expansions it doesn't happen like this. Because we're only 37 solar panels short, which is much, much better off. Alright, so we're just gonna have to let them cook for a bit. The solar panels should be going pretty reasonably fast because we have 3 machines doing that. And then the accumulators will take a while. And we're also 93% of the way towards rocket silos. And I feel like we might need more storage. Where do we even have those? Okay, we have 4 of these. Let's place them down so we do not run out of space for this. This box is mostly filled with wood. And the rest of this is just going. 4 more boxes should last us quite a while. But that should be fine. Alright. So the great accumulator shortage is going to last for a while and probably drain most of our battery production. Now, is there a reasonably simple way of expanding battery production? This looks like it has enough sulfur, or sulfuric acid, so if we take these off of productivity modules, they'll go faster. Although it does have enough battery input here. So I guess what we could do is just manual craft up some speed modules for it. And hopefully that will help a little bit. So you are now really 20% faster for tier 1 modules. It's actually really good. Productivity is nowhere near that. It's like 4 or 5% each. Alright, so you are now 40% faster. And we'll have to see if the battery supply is enough to keep up with that. It looks like it might not be. Actually, it looks like it might be, because we're up to 10 now. It looks like it's barely enough. So these two should be producing 0.4 batteries. This uses 0.5 batteries now. Okay, so we should take that out, and then maybe even... Oh, you can't be productivity moduled. So we can take that out to make it marginally better. And if we just make you go a little bit faster, then we should be positive on battery production barely. That's 0.45, that's 0.52. So that is that, assuming we don't run out of sulfuric acid. We have that going. Rocket silo up to 98%, and hopefully keeps going. None of that stuff needs batteries, right? No, it does not. It does need steel, which is low apparently. We might need to supply some steel in. Alright. So what is going on with the steel supply? It's just because we are doing everything off of this one row of machines. Alright, let's get more production in of those things. So first of all, we're going to want this to be making more iron plates. Okay, rocket silo is finished. That is good. And space platform is unlocked by launching a satellite or something. We're sending item space platform starter pack to space. And that's the only thing that comes off of the rocket silo. So then our next thing should be something unrelated. Like, I don't know, do we really need beacons at this exact moment? Probably not. Let's actually queue up just lab research speed. That'll be handy to have. Alright. So we have all of this iron plate production. We can use that to make more steel production. But I think I want to... Actually, we will put the steel production in first and then figure out if we need to upgrade the iron plates afterwards. No sense doing extra work if it isn't needed. So we get electric furnaces. And those are going to... I think they're going to just branch off of this and go up. So, electric furnace. And just a nice, solid, large row of them. And it gets all the iron plates it needs. And those get input like this. And then they output the other side. Like this. And then they come back down. Alright, now we just get power lines in. Which we should be able to do by hold clicking. So those all go in down the other side. And we need one more. So that is that. Now we can just copy paste this whole thing and get it up here and make sure that the belts connect across properly. Alright, lab research speed 1 is finished. Lab research speed 2, go ahead. Alright, so in the meantime, space. We need processing units for a space platform starter pack. And we need a whole bunch of stuff for the rocket silo itself. And then I guess we're just going to have to figure out all the details of that in a bit. For now, let's get this steel brought back down. So this is going to go over this way. And then we need it to get down to the factory. And you are going to go down this way, go around all of those. And I don't know if that connected up properly. I cannot see because of the trees. Apparently it did. So we just keep going down. And then, why would you turn that way? You then turn that way and attach into the rest of the steel production that we have. So that is that. And those still need to get built. And it's sort of delaying the entire thing while we wait for that. Just one more. There we go. Steel production improved. And that should be a pretty massive difference. It's probably like tripled now. So that's cool. Alright, so we have successfully majorly increased that. Let's make this Mark II belts. That seems at least out to here where it splits anyways. So that should be all the steel that we need. Wait, is this gonna cause problems going on both sides of belts where I expect it to only be on one side of? Okay, down there it's fine. up here, it is gonna cause problems. Alright, so let's disconnect you, and we should be able to just... We should be able to just have that. No, not like that. I want the other one to take priority, not you. So you need to go along like that. You need to go up there. And then we're fixed. Alright, I believe that is that for fixing the steel production. And now we just need to start making processing units, which are both types of circuits and sulfuric acid. So hopefully this is enough of that. Finished lab research speed 2. Let's unlock explosives. That seems like an important thing to have. So this is the area we're going to be wanting to work in, because we've got sulfuric acid, we've got green circuits, we've got red circuits. So step 1 is get the sulfuric acid over to here. And that's not too difficult. And this has sulfur shortages. The sulfur is doing fine, so we might take those off productivity modules in order to be all good. Although now it's output full, so who really knows? It might just be because this is a long-handled inserter that the shortages occasionally pop up. Alright, let's hope that that's fine. So we just need to grab our red circuits and then have them come down to here. And then I really need to just reset up that kill all trees blueprint. Alright, that doesn't need to go underground there. So then we need this belt to go underground a little bit so that we can take our green circuits down to here. And then these two belts can just sort of go down like this. Actually, no, we don't want them to go all the way down. We need to set up a pretty significant row because of how insanely slow processing units are to craft. So we just need to do something like that, I think. And then we are going to need to do something about this lubricant pipe, which hopefully just sending it underground most of the time will have it be out of the way. Alright, we did that upgrade. What next? Uranium mining, automation 3. Let's do automation 3. I'm pretty sure I have purple science somewhere. Alright, so now you need to go there. Wait, actually, I think the easier way would be to do a filter and a filter. So you are green circuit output priority, and you are red circuit output priority. And then the green circuits come down here. And the red circuits are going to have to do some shenanigans. Actually, this is taking up more space than I would have liked. how do I make this more compact? Maybe if we have the red circuit output priority like way back here. So you are filter red circuits. And then the green circuits can loop around like this. Alright, now this is some creative belting right here. The red circuits go up and in there. And then this can loop down like that. And then go along that way. And that will work out, I think. And then we just need these to start like over here where we have enough space to get an output belt. Put a bunch of those in. Now all of you make blue circuits. Alright, so then we have to get the sulfuric acid up into here. And we need to get an output, which we can barely get the output in this spot. So we do something like that. Then we just need to connect this pipe across, which I guess is going to mean going over this way. And then that doesn't need to extend out at all. So then you can go down here and then over this way and done. Wait, this first one isn't gonna work. Alright, that's fine. So we're just gonna have to ignore that one. And then you go out to there. And then you are that output. Belt goes across, belt goes across. And fast inserters there. And now we just get everything all powered up. So get you, and you, and you, and you. And so that is going to be our blue circuit production line, which will, for now, we're probably going to want to use these in some things later, so we're going to leave that belt available to expand, but for now we're going to fill up a box with them. Alright, so now these are working, and we should productivity module all of these guys, because they're going to take up an insane amount of resources otherwise. So those are in. Biters are still attacking stuff. They actually got through a wall that time. And do we have drones there to repair that wall? We should. So that should be okay. But just in case, it seems like that corner needs to be more thorough. So you get a double thick wall. That double thick wall can go out to there, I guess. So that should be all secured. We have random gear wheels on this belt. That's probably not good. How did you get there? It's probably nothing. It's probably just yet another incident of that one time that I messed up. So let's take all those out. Laser turrets, though, not really getting any batteries for the foreseeable future because of all those capacitors that I'm building, so we don't have any fresh laser turret production at any point. Alright, so the green circuits are basically just being drained. We're using them as fast as we make them at this point. And that's fine. We have just those two going, and those two up there. Now this one has an item ingredient shortage of wire, it looks like. Alright, let's make these belts go faster, see if that fixes the problem. Alright, so this gets to be a Mark II belt, at least up to there. And now they should be good on wire. So that is that. The green circuit demand is still absolutely insane from these guys, where we have hit ingredient shortages. How many of these do we have? We have like 40 of them. And in order to get a rocket silo, we need 200. And 200 engine units, and 1,000 concrete. Alright, we need to start making concrete then. That's iron ore, stone bricks, and water. Alright, so let's run up to here. So we have stone bricks there, which we can grab. We only have 4 of these. It's hardly any. Alright, where does this split off happen most easily? I think just as early as possible. So if we just have you just loop around this way, where we have space, then we can do something with them. Let's add a couple more onto this line because we are actually using it. I'm so bad at getting the belts to face the right way. Just like always end up looping around like a dozen times. Alright, so let's then get these guys loaded up. And then get them outputting. And power poles. Alright, so that is that. Iron ore is just over here. And then we need to bring water. So we need to get water, just like a random pipe of water up to there, which is going to be kind of annoying because our water pipes are not exactly close. So let's head down here. Water pipes should be in this general area. Yeah, here they are. So we just need to start by just going east. And just underneath that lubricant pipe. I keep thinking I have pipes on a hotkey, but it's on the second row. Alright, how do we get anything from here? Do we just go down and around the solar panels? Or do we just like chop out 1 or 2 solar panels to make way for an underground belt? I think we just chop out 1 or 2 solar panels to make way for an underground belt. That seems much more direct. So this comes up this way and then turns this way. So you are going to go as far out as you can, which is there. And then you're going to do another step of that, which you don't need to go quite so far that time. You can just go out to there. And now we go up, across, that plastic line, and now we just need to get a little bit over to the east and then up, and that should get us there. Alright, is this a good line? Where even is our stone? It's right here, and we're trying to get sort of in that general area. So yeah, a little bit further east. This ought to be enough. And now we just have to run this pipe up. Across to there. And a little bit more. Up to there, and that should be everything that we need. So now let's just see if we can make concrete. So we have iron ore, stone bricks, and then the water can just go into there. And we need to connect the power poles across, and then output to a box, which we need like thousands of that. So just this one thing isn't going to be good enough, actually. We need more. We're going to need multiple of those to get that going at any reasonable rate. So let's have our iron ore go onto that belt. Then we can copy paste you across a couple of times. And actually, if we have these rotated down like this, then we have our water pipe there. You need to go away. And then we just have this feeding the water to all of them. And then we feed these to all of them. And we power them up. Alright, now we just need to redo the output to be coordinated. So you just go like that. And then you can take off to the side to a box in case we want to drag this line somewhere. Okay, I need this plastic belt to go underground so that that can go one more forwards and get the fourth one of these guys going. Then we just set up our output inserters and power lines. Alright, so now we have 3 of this per second if the stone brick supply and the iron ore supply checks out, which hopefully it does. How much stone brick supply do we have? Should be well more than enough. Alright, so let's how do you do this? Right click to clear, and then set concrete so we can have a couple stacks of that in our inventory, and then clear out because we don't want any stone in the inventory anymore because we're going to be using concrete for all the future stuff. Alright, so concrete production is started. Automation 3 appears to be stuck. I thought I had everything for you. Do we... Oh, we don't have purple science going in properly because of whatever this is. Okay, so now we do that, and we need to clear these belts a little bit. Alright, now we have purple science going. That was a lot of wasted time for me not noticing, but we have it now. Alright, so that is that. And military science goes to the other side, just as it should. So we should be okay. Shouldn't have serious problems from that. I think we want to store more rails, just because when we use them, we're going to be using a lot of them. So let's get that going. The iron ore looks like it's still going fine, and we can definitely afford to increase this plate production. Although the steel production looks like it is doing okay. So all the iron that goes up here is getting eaten by the steel production, but the steel production should slow down soon because it doesn't need to be fully utilized. So we should be fine with that. Now if we come over here, how many of these do we have? 14 only? It's not incredible. Not incredible at all. And we're still 165 of those guys short, although our supply now is massive. So we have a ton of power from the solar panels, and the accumulators have plenty of storage. Okay, so this iron plate supply is struggling a lot. And that's just because it's not getting that much. And this is a lot of steel furnaces and stuff. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. But it looks like... Is there any way of making this go faster? Not really. So this is about as much iron ore as that side can take. Although theoretically we should be able to do more. If we go back here, this whole thing is dead. Let's just get rid of all that. And can I get just a second one of those? Because I think they do stack to some extent. Alright, so that's all gone. Now we take that out, and this is going to temporarily stop our iron from going through. But hopefully it'll be quick. It really does take a long time for the drones to get here. We need faster drones. So many researches that would be so nice to have. Alright, so that's basically all out of the way now. And now we just have to... Let's see, this belt goes along to there. And then we can take a second belt along. And, alright, that's a little bit janky that they're swapping places, but now we have more iron on the belts, which should help a little bit. Although this, you need to be upgraded. Wait, how's that queuing these to upgrade to Mark III? I don't even have those, right? Right. Alright, let's get all those upgraded. And yeah, it wants to upgrade these to Mark IIIs for some reason, despite the fact that I literally don't have that technology unlocked. Thank you, Upgrade Planner, very cool. It wants to do the same thing with those two. Alright, so that will make that whole line Mark II. Previously some of it was Mark III, or Mark I. And that should again help just get everything going as smoothly as we can get it. The iron supply still not great, but it's looking better. I don't know why these guys are even still producing iron. Is it because they output to the other side of the belt? I guess. Alright, so that is going. Iron is going along. What else do we need for the rocket silo? We needed a whole bunch of steel plates, a whole bunch of engine units, pipes, which are easy, processing units, and concrete. Alright, well let's see here. Can we just get those set up? So we want to request 200 processing units. And yeah, I guess 200 to infinity is fine. No, we should do 200 to 200. That solves a lot of problems. And then we want to set the concrete. Request making 1,000 of it, which is also gonna be a lot. Now let's find our blue circuit production down here. Where did you end up? All the way over here. And we have very little. So we're up to like two. Actually, we're just about there, actually. We're at 194. So that's almost done. Then we need our 200 electric engine units and 1,000 steel plates. It just requires a lot of inventory space to do all this. But I guess that's what we have to do. So we're gonna set you up to 1,000. And then electric engine units somewhere in here. Actually, we want this to be down here because it's not for building, it's for crafting. Electric engine units, what was it, like 300? No, it was 200. Alright, so that is set up, and then the pipes are already good. We need to put the engine units actually into a passive provider chest in order for that to work. Alright, so now the drones are going crazy. What does the power think about that? Power does not care. What was that giant yellow spike? Oh, that was filling all those accumulators I built, probably. Alright, so we need to get up to the electrical engine units and just pop in a passive provider chest on there, which we only need that to store like 2 stacks worth, and then all the rest will just be going directly to my inventory. So we're getting there on the steel plates, apparently. The electrical engines are currently no good. We don't have any regular engines. Why do we not have engine units? These are all working currently. And so what is going wrong with them? Okay, accumulators are actually taking a lot of stress from these drones. That is concerning. If only we had an extra 120 of them. Alright, are you just perpetually low on engines? No, so we have plenty of electrical engine units up to there. So we have enough production theoretically, except for this not having enough. So there's just these 4, and they are pipes, which we have plenty of, gears, which we have plenty of, and steel, which we have plenty of. Alright, let's get those. Okay, my inventory is full. Yeah, that checks out. Alright. I need to set sulfur to 0, because why do I have all that junk? And small electric poles to 0, so I can get rid of those. And that frees up a slot. Okay, then I can pop these guys into the blueprint folder instead of your inventory where they get set randomly. Okay, then I need to set stone furnaces to 0 and steel furnaces to 0. And Mark 1 assembly machines to 0. And I think... Okay, we can also go Mark 1 inserters to 0. Do not need those guys. And then the rest of the stuff is at least like marginally useful depending on the circumstances if we're trying to craft something. And I can put the personal roboport into there. Alright, we have enough slots now. And so the only thing we are missing is apparently the electrical engine units. Alright, let's craft up some speed modules and have those going. And okay, we have a bunch of these guys in this box. Okay, only 18, but might as well. Can I just give you a whole bunch? Okay, why did they... Oh, I see. I have a request for regular engine units somewhere. I don't even know where that is. It isn't around here, is it? How are those even getting in box? Weird, but whatever. I mean, I know that I'm asking them for train purposes. But I don't know where they're even getting into a provider chest from. Because this seems to be... Oh, here they are. Found them. Okay, so that's fine then. Now let's speed module these guys so that they can go a little bit faster. And that will be like 3 of those per second, which should be more than enough for this. Although filling up this provider chest from when I just used them is causing slight problems. Is there anything over here that I can just like grab and throw in somewhere? I guess these iron plates I could put in, but it's only 50. I don't really care. Alright, so at this point it's just a question of waiting for the rocket silos. And then we're probably going to have to do some similar stuff to get like the rocket launches. So we need a space platform starter pack apparently, which is steel plates, processing units, and space platform foundations, which is steel plates and copper cables. So let's get those crafting up. Steel plates and copper cables. They're right next to each other here. And here we go. Use them for something over here apparently. So let's get a couple of those guys in. And then get them powered and space platform foundations. So then we can just do this quick setup and get that side powered up. And we need, what, 60 of those, which is pretty straightforward. It'll take a fair amount of time, but what, like a couple minutes probably? So we can just leave that. Then I think we're going to need a cargo landing pad as well. So let's just queue up one of those so that we can have our resupplies coming to fill in the rest of that spot. We have 130 something spare blue circuits, so that's cool. Oh, we might need to make low density structures for the rocket, maybe? I don't know. Copper plates, steel plates, plastic bars. Do we have anywhere where all of those things are conveniently located? Probably up north. So if we go up here, I'm pretty sure we have all those things. So we have copper plates, because we have copper wire. Yes, we have copper plates there. We've got steel bars there. And we have plastic there. Alright, so then we can set up just something like this. And then we split off that. Actually, no, we split them going the other way so that this is on the right side. Then that just goes down like that. And we can bring you along like this. And down. Alright. Then we just have to set this up. So you get an inserter and a long inserter. And power poles. Oh. Fighters just destroyed some stuff. What did they destroy? Just some walls. In that same corner down here. Alright, you clearly need a couple more laser turrets, which we don't currently have, but I can give you... There's some way of doing something like that. I don't know. We could do that. Then... Alright, they didn't do what I wanted. They just put them right back in my inventory. Wonderful. Alright. We're just going to ignore that for now. It's probably fine. And then we get those going, and low density structures. Then we just bring the belt along and into a box. So then you all output. And that's low density structures done. Our accumulators are actually slowly building up. Only 70 some short now. And now we have low density structures, which let's just have a couple stacks of at a given time. Then we go over here, rocket silo. We still need 100 electric engines. I assume I can't manually craft that because it needs lubricants. Alright, let's head back down to see what's going on with those guys, if I can do anything to speed it up more, or if it's just sort of going to be like that. Alright, so these now have plenty of those, so I can actually just speed module them. So that will get them going faster, using more of the regular engine units, which is fine. Alright, what else kind of don't love how many different boxes they put all this stuff in, but it looks like we have plenty of space. So that's fine. And let's just head down and manually fix that laser turret, that corner that was getting hit harder than the others. So we can just run down here, be out of drone coverage for a little bit. But that's fine. Alright. So back down to here. This gigantic oil pipe goes down to here. And then we can just place those two laser turrets in, and hopefully doubling the amount of damage output down here should solve all the problems with being attacked on that corner. And if not, let's just make the double wide wall go much further along. Alright, so that should be fine. Although maybe I should just not mess around and I should just remove those biters. That's probably better. Alright, so step one, get a nice solid backstop, which I can rely on so that if I have to run back, we have a bit closer up. Now, we take those forwards and we retreat. Alright, so that little batch of biters, which were standing in front of everything for whatever reason, are now gone. Alright, so now we are just out of range, apparently. So we need to get closer and place all those guys in. And the drones are not having a great time keeping those power lines active. But we did get there eventually, and now we just need to get enough of you guys in to wipe out that last nest. Okay, is that everything? I believe that's everything. Yep. Alright, cool. So now we can reclaim all this stuff, pick up our laser turrets, and that corner shouldn't be getting hit at all anymore. So we can also take that out. And another pretty straightforward mission. And now we just have to wait for all these drones to charge up and get loaded into my inventory. Okay, we're down to 47 capacitors missing before we have decent battery supplies again. So now we will run back up and see how our electric engine production is going. So we just go up here. There goes a drone carrying a capacitor. And alright, here it appears to be all the electric engine drones, as well as some other assorted stuff. Alright, we're 40 engines short, and there's probably a couple more in drones headed towards me now. I'm just going to make my way up to the electric engine spot and just stand there. Alright, I imagine that purple science is the main limiting factor here, and I'm correct, and they are not getting any productivity modules. Why are you not getting any productivity modules? I see, this whole system isn't working quite right. Alright, I just need to set you down to like 40 to account for the fact that we don't have quite as much space in here because we're filling up with the tier 2 productivity modules as well. Alright, so that should get that going again at least a little bit. Item ingredient shortage. How do you have an item ingredient shortage? Oh, I see. We have a whole bunch of just tier 3 green circuits. How are we getting tier 3 green circuits? That shouldn't be a thing. Alright, well, anyways, I guess we just have to filter those guys out. So we get those in. And actually, let's put the inserters first. Alright, use filters. And you are going to take those, and I guess those. Wait, I need to set you to that. And then I need to do the same thing here. So you filter out both of those. And okay, then we can just put you and you in. And then we have these running again, and we just need to sort of drain all. How are there that many of those? I don't even know how we have any rare green circuits, considering this is just regular green circuits going to quality modules. I guess there's a chance that the quality up triggers twice on the same thing. Didn't even know that was how that worked. But I guess. Alright, we need to... Maybe we need to actually drain those out earlier in the line. I mean, these are all fine. It's probably okay. It's probably okay. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm just not going to worry about it until it starts breaking again, at which point I will start worrying about it again. Alright, so we have some science production going again, but more importantly, we have the rocket silo. So now we can click on that, and then let's just set all of these guys down to like much smaller numbers than they're currently set to. I still wouldn't mind having a stack of those and a couple stacks of concrete, because that's just useful to have. And then the electric engines. Yeah, I guess I'll have a stack of them, just in case they're used for crafting something. Alright, so now we should be able to get this going. Rocket silo, place you in. New tip, space platform. Let's read the new tip. The space platform is built remotely with construction materials delivered by rockets. It can be used to transport players and cargo between planets. Item Space Platform Starter Pack is used to initialize platform, which is then expanded using Item Space Platform Foundation. Entity Asteroid Collector catches asteroids from space for materials. Entity Crusher is used to crush asteroids for resources. Okay. Neat. So we do have some of that stuff, probably. Okay, so we do need to set up rocket parts. Where's my productivity modules? Just to get those in preemptively. And we need to just like we need to just deliver those manually until we get requester chests to do this. Because dragging those pipes all the way over here, dragging belts all the way over here from all those things is going to be awful. How much does this even need? It's 0.26 per second to 0.3%, so it shouldn't need that many, right? If I just pop those in, and then I need to make some rocket fuel. How do you make rocket fuel? Is that just solid fuel and light oil? Yeah, okay, so we need to head down there to get those. Alright. Here should be a decent spot, probably. Although, let's see, that it does have some light oil. The heavy oil we're going to need to do some cracking here. Because I guess I just never got around to setting that up on this spot because I was using this for lubricant. Okay, that means we need water as well. So let's just set that up over there. Then we can bring that pipe along. So that goes in, heavy oil to light oil. And then we need, what is that? Probably in a chemical plant, I assume, for the solid, for the rocket fuel production. Alright, so then this will go like here and load in from the solid fuel. It's not in a chemical plant. Is it in an assembler? Yeah, it's in an assembler. Weird. Alright, so we have that. And you are going to be taking all that solid fuel. And then the light oil can just go into there. And can we get this pipe across to just connect all the light oil together? There we go. And then we just need you to get output to a box, which we're going to have store just a couple. And we will then request just like, I don't know, 2 stacks maybe. Train out of fuel. Alright, let's go fix that. Honestly, lasted a long time before that happened. Soon we will have our requester chests and not have to worry about trains running out of fuel. For now, we can just run over and manually refill them. Alright, through this area, which is where I was very, very preemptively designing my late game stuff. And I'm probably going to redesign it entirely by the time we actually get to using it. Alright, up we go. Alright, it was like a millimeter away from getting into a station. That's funny. Alright. You get just a stack of solid fuel. And a biter somewhere has destroyed a pipe. That's bad. So that is going to cut off like half of my oil production, probably. So now we have to run all the way back to the other side of the factory. And off we go. Alright, where... Oh, did it get repaired? Alright. Yes, it looks like a drone is going in to repair it. And I guess the biter died somehow. I'm not sure where it came from or how it got to that side of things, but I guess I'm not going to complain. Not going to complain that the biter mysteriously left. Alright. So I needed to get low density structures. Where did I put that? Up here. Alright, so we have low density structures in this box. Let's just grab all of those, and actually let's just set me to have a stack of them. And then we have our rocket fuel, which we only have 7 of. Alright, so then we can go into here, feed you low density structures, feed you rocket fuel, and then you are going to start making rockets. Each of these is apparently 2%, so we need like 50 of each basically, which is going to be a problem with the rocket fuel because we just set it up now and we have no backlog. But we can at least get it going, and the productivity modules will save a little bit. Alright, so our rocket fuel is down here, and it is just going along. 0.05 per second, whereas this is 0.26 per second. So yeah, unsurprisingly, we're going to have to wait a lot longer for enough rocket fuel to do everything. Science is going very slowly, but it is going. And it looks like we finally finished this whole setup. So that is good. And now we are starting to stockpile accumulators again for the next time we expand power, which probably will have to be soon, unfortunately, because we're going to be using a lot more drones for a lot more things in the near future. Alright, we might as well throw some more rocket fuel in just so that it can run a little bit. And did we ever make this? I don't think we did. So let's add in space platform foundations into the things that I am requesting. And I should have a decent chunk of them. Go over here, we've got 70. And we're using all of our steel plate production. Why is that? There should be plenty. Oh, I see. It's because of this. It's because of this horrible setup that, like, all of the steel plates on this side of the belt aren't getting put in, I guess. That's weird that it works that way, but whatever. So can I fix that? Probably. If I shift some other things around, I should be able to get that functioning again. Alright, so this whole line is just feeding this, which isn't doing anything. Alright, so I think I should be able to just take that out at that point. And then that will let us move this copper wire belt back a little bit. Like that. And then that will let us shimmy this steel plates belt around a little bit. So you still need to be careful to only input into the correct side, but you can grab from both sides of the belt to do it. And there we go. So that is steel plates going through. And so now these can both be producing again. And we have more than enough, it seems. So let's craft up a space platform starter pack. And then we're going to get restocked on all the other things. Okay, so we are going to head over here to a rocket fuel production, and you have... How much light oil is this? So it's hard to tell because it's kind of scuffed. But these ones are output full on the petroleum gas. So I need to deal with that in order to get this going better, potentially. So what can we use petroleum gas for? We can make sulfur, but not all that much. Solid fuel is probably just adding more storage onto this is going to be the easiest solution. So let's craft up a couple of iron chests and just add some storage onto that. Wait, actually, no. We want this to be over here after this, so that this gets priority on the new solid fuel that gets produced. So that is very much a short-term solution. We're going to need to get this running properly at some point in the future, but now we should be able to just speed module these. And I really need to automate. I need to just like head up there and set up like the one machine that I need to add to automate speed modules. So there we go. That is, now we're going marginally faster. And how much do we have? We have 16 rocket fuel in our inventory. Yeah, we should head up there and we should head up to the rocket silo and get that in. Renegade, hello. Nice to see you. So we just need to throw that in because that will have this running for a while. And that's that. Alright, what I want to do actually is I want to get a stockpile of blue science going, because I know that is, when I'm not doing purple science, when I'm doing anything lower on the tree than purple science, blue science is going to be the main limiting factor, almost certainly. So I want to have the ability to store up a decent chunk of it, not a huge amount, but just some, so that once this automation research finishes, we can have that as an option so that the blue science can go faster. And I might do the same thing with the other types of science, actually, just to make sure. So those get set up, and you just need like a couple stacks worth. Yeah, I know, that's it. It was simply too much work to get that set up properly when I was setting this up, and yeah, it's fine. I don't care enough to fix that. Alright, so then let's get the automation science also set up into a storage box. This one is a metal storage box, despite the fact that the other ones were passive provider chests for no particular reason. Okay, wait, no, this is wrong. I can't do this. So this, we need to get that outputting onto the other side. So if we have this come up like this, then you output to there, then how do we do this? How do we do this? You need to go down like that, And now this works. So let's just unstick that red science. And we're good. And then up to military science, which has a bit less space than the others. But that's just because of these stupid trees that are in the way. So we can take that out. Give you a box. Oh wait, this is military science and purple science. Actually, this requires a bit more effort then. So I think we need to just like pull out from the side here and then have you filtered to only grab military science, and then we can have that go back in like that, and then that should work. And then the purple science is never going to have a backlog because it's much slower than all the others. And it's also actively being used at the present moment. I guess we can put in a backlog here. It's not going to hurt anything just to have it. So there you go. And then that is all set up. Alright, so now all of our science is going to be running for quite a while. And we should have enough rocket fuel to finish a rocket, probably, or at least close to it. There you go, have another 18. And there's still a slow trickle of rocket fuel getting produced. So this hasn't gotten stuck or anything, it's just going. And this should be all clear. Let's top off the low density structures. We're up to 80-some%. Okay, rocket inventory. Do we need to... I assume we need to like put this stuff in here. Alright, so yeah, that's rocket capacity usage of all of it. Alright, the rocket has been crafted. It is preparing for launch. There we go. And I guess we just click build new space platform. Alright, what has just happened? New space platform name. What do I name this? Testing platform. Create. Alright, a starter pack for this platform is on the way. So I guess we just have to wait for that to go. Alright. So that is that. And new tip, orbital logistics. Alright, how does this work? Space Platform Hub can request items from the logistic network to be delivered by rockets. It's possible to auto-request missing construction materials. Rocket Silo can be set to automatically fulfill requests from space platforms. Cargo Landing Pad can request items from a space platform orbiting its planet, unless it is already requesting the item on this planet. And Shift plus left click in the Space Platform Hub GUI transfers a single stack manually to planet. Items will appear in landed cargo pod on starting coordinates. Okay. Okay, so that exists now, and I need to set, speaking of cargo landing pad, let's build one. Just sort of there, I guess. Alright. now we have that. How do we go up here? Alright, how do we get white science? By building an asteroid collector. Okay, so we need to do that, which we seem to have unlocked the ability to do. So let's just click on that and get that building. Alright, so asteroid crushing produces iron ore and metallic asteroid chunks. Oh, I see, there's like a 20% chance of recycling it, basically. And then that makes carbon, which I assume you can use as fuel. And then that makes ice, which I guess you could probably use as water. Seems very complicated. So we have to actually build the thing itself. Alright, this seems difficult. But if we go build asteroid collector, then how does this even work? So do you need to build more of this? So if we have something like that, and we put an asteroid collector on, it's not quite large enough. Alright, so we can just sort of get a lot of space up there. Then how does this work? Is it just even larger than I no, you have to put it like off over the edge, basically. Alright, so you can go there, and then we need to deliver that, I guess. Which means we need to launch another rocket, which means we need more rocket fuel. Alright, I need substantially more rocket fuel production. Do we have... Is this all going as much as it can? Looks like it. And then is this pure solid fuel down here? No, that's coal. That needs coal. And then we need to get some solid fuel down there. So what's up? I am playing Factorio, and we are trying to figure out how to get all this working, and did this get broken somehow? Why are you... Oh, I see. You have fancy modules on you that's getting everything stuck. Alright, can I just take those out? They're causing considerably more problems than they're fixing at this point. So let's just get rid of these and replace them with productivity modules, which you should be able to do. Just there's definitely some way of like automatically removing all of them. Wait, no, stop it. Why would you do that? Alright, so we can just... We have to open the menu and then click a couple times, but this does work relatively easily. Alright, and then let's get these two so that they don't cause problems. And save some resources while we're at it. Never hurts. Alright, so that is all set up. then we need to... I guess we need to set this to also take tier 3s and hopefully that deals with all of that. Then we have to run down and unclog wherever they got to on the belts, which I don't even know how they got all the way down there. Alright, so we run down this way, and then somewhere in here we have a filter. There we go. Problem solved. And blue circuit production is going again. Alright, now what we were actually trying to do while we came down here was set up solid fuel production at larger quantities. Or rocket fuel production. So we need solid fuel and light oil, which we can get the solid fuel from basically anywhere, as long as it's a belt with enough of that stuff on it. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? I want to make sure that this... So that side of the belt should always be solid fuel. The other side should always be coal. So I think using this shared belt should be okay. It should be okay. And then that'll just give us all the solid fuel that we need for this, and then we can hook it up to the light oil line, which there should be more light oil over here. Although we are just instantly cracking it all down to petroleum gas, so maybe there isn't. Yeah, I don't even know what we're using all this petroleum gas for. I guess just sort of a little bit of everything. Alright, let's see if there's anything we can do to stop that. So if we just, like, deactivate some of these guys so that we don't end up using the light oil for this. Oh, why is there a biter here? Where did you come from? Go away. And I guess it's a good thing I was physically present. So we are just going to go a little bit over this way and place a laser turret. And might as well get one down there in case they come from a slightly different angle. Then we just power all this up. And we get some walls. Like that. Can I lock myself in a small box again? I did. Alright, so this should be those defenses set up. Alright, so without this light oil cracking, how much petroleum gas do we end up using? Because we should have plenty, probably. That this is not the world's largest supply of petroleum gas. So let's just hope that that's enough, and then we can bring this pipe. Let's see, how do we get this pipe over where we need it to go? I think if we just do something like this. Can you reach all the way across? Almost. That's so annoyingly close that I think we just have to make it work. So you go there. Oh, and it knows to automatically build those. That's convenient. I didn't know it knew that. Alright, so now we have our pipe of light oil. And we have our belts, which currently have some coal on them, but are pretty quickly going to not have any coal on them. Once I filter all that, there we go. Alright, so let's now get just a couple of these. I don't know, let's have this run down this way and sort of loop back across. Then we can get a bunch of these guys in. And then we have to send these in the sides because the center is where the fluids have to go. So that all goes like that. Then you get set as rocket fuel. And then these pipes just go across. And why would you do that? Then you go across like that. And then the main pipe goes there. Alright, now we just put power lines in. And then we can get our solid fuel supply going. So we just do this. Get all the output things powered up, and passive divider chest. And apparently we need a roboport down here as well, so let's get you in right there. And that should be a lot more solid fuel production at the cost of potentially petroleum gas shortages, but we'll deal with that when it happens. Okay, then we have another sort of chunk of coal on this belt, which I believe is just leftovers from when I was first designing it. Like, I think at this point it's pretty solid. Unless we have a petroleum coke shortage, I guess. If we had a petroleum coke shortage, then something would start breaking. But until that happens, this side should be firmly 100% petroleum coke. Alright, so that is that. And now we just have to go up and keep the rocket fuel going, and also figure out what has happened to our purple science production, because it hasn't been running for a little while. Alright, productivity modules, where are you? Why do you only have 6? And why do you still have item ingredient shortages? It's because of this. Okay, yeah, so we just need to clear all that junk out, and now there shouldn't be any more ever. So it should be okay now. And we just have to hope that there isn't some secret problem somewhere else with higher quality red circuits blocking other things. I guess we're just gonna have to hope that isn't the case, and you can run along the belts to see if we notice any. But if there were any, they would be like right at the end of the belt, wherever it is, like up here. Then this splits into 2, and yeah, there are more there. So we have to set that. And then we need to check if a similar thing has happened up here, which it probably will, although apparently... Alright, yes, it has. So you have a whole bunch of higher quality things on the belt. So we need to clear them out. New tip, removing trash in space. Oh boy. Inserters can be used to remove waste items by moving them into the void of space. Alright, that's handy actually. So that's handy for just getting rid of trash in general. Alright, so this is functioning again. Then this is the other red circuit belt. And it goes all the way over here. And at this point it is broken because it has fancy stuff on it, probably. Item ingredient shortage. Oh, you're short on stone bricks. I see. So this got messed up for you. So how do we fix that? We need to make... I guess the easy fix is to just not... No, because that'll also break the drone port production, which we need. So we need to actually get this belt correct. So I think if I take that out, and then you do that. So now I have the iron, the steel on one side, but I need it to be on the other side, actually. So if we do that, and then how does this work? We can take that out and bring you up like this. Then we need you to go underground a little bit. And you go in like that. Alright, so wait, this is wrong. How have I managed to do this again? I always wind up putting things on the wrong side. So you need to get around over to here and then go in on that side, actually. So this was actually correct to go this way, apparently. Alright, does this is steel furnaces. We can actually just remove that. That's not needed ever. So you need to loop around this way, go through... Wait, no. That's not going to work, because there's not enough space there. So what if you loop down here, then you go on, then you go around this way. Let's get rid of that box as well. So now we have this belt set up. So you go up there and in like that. Okay, then this doesn't have to go underground anymore, which might have caused some problems. And now it is all good. Alright, problem solved. This is why in my previous save I did not have multiple things on the same belt whenever possible, because it just tends to create some confusion. But we got there. That's all good. And oh, I need to put this power line back in. Let's get that real quick. And now should be all set. So if I go up here, I feed you some rocket fuel. It's going to take you a while to use it all. I cannot wait until I have requester chests. Let's see. Requester chests should be like right down past this, right? So let's see, we have tier 2 modules and logistics system. Yeah. So we can get requester chests once we have white science. So we get white science, we get requester chests, and then everything gets so much nicer. Alright, so this is still going. It's gonna take it quite a while. And let's just make sure to keep it nice and stocked. Apparently that stockpile only goes up to like 50 some. So there, you can have those in a box. And that box will be a requester chest once those exist. And then in the meantime, we just have to find some other productive thing to set up. See, our science is still going very slowly. In fact, it still hasn't restarted. And I would assume that that is because this needs to produce like a bunch. Alright. Green circuits are still messed up. So green circuits are still all messed up. I did remove the quality modules from them, right? I did. That's good. So hopefully that will get this producing again. So that one's output full and has been this entire time. Okay, you don't need to have one plastic in there. Alright, so now it's just a question of like, are there just a couple more of the higher quality stuff just sitting on belts somewhere? And I have no way of knowing if that is the case, except from just hoping that there isn't. But we do really need this purple science to be producing. And in fact, I think... let's just get another production row of this. So we only have one machine currently doing that, which is kind of very annoyingly slow. So let's just get a whole bunch of them. We don't have any problems with red or green circuits at this exact moment. So I'm going to take advantage of that to have this go. Alright, let's just go filter green circuits to not have the plastic go through. And take out those plastic, and there. So now we have our one belt. Attach all those guys up. And then they can get producing. And then we just connect all these guys up and bring power poles. There we go. So that should be plenty of that. Probably too much, but we'll see. Somehow some of these are missing productivity modules. So let's make sure that they aren't. Alright, so the red circuit production is going along as usual. And these guys are all producing, but the red circuit supply is quite bad. So at least half of it is going to go down this way, so we shouldn't have a complete collapse of a red circuit supply. We might run a bit low, but there will always be some going through. And then in the meantime, this should be enough productivity modules to get this going reasonably quick. Alright, and then our rocket is set up, and the second rocket is also very nearly there. So let's give you one of those. Actually, what else can we launch up there? Probably want a couple of crushers. And another asteroid collector and maybe a cargo bay or two. Although I don't know how much space they have. It might just be fine as it is. Alright, so where are the drones bringing me low density structures. So that's there. It's just sitting there doing nothing. Did I request low density structures? I did. Oh, I'm not currently in the logistics network. That makes sense. Let's change that. There you go. Drone port set up. Now we should be getting stuff delivered. Like that, and all of that. Alright, so I can make a cargo bay. And what do I have currently? I have 2 crushers, a cargo bay, another asteroid collector, and then fill up whatever remaining space with space platform foundations. Or maybe we need belts, actually. Yeah, we probably need belts and inserters and stuff up there. So let's do all that. Then we can get 25 of those up. But what if I want less than that? Alright. Let's give you some belts and some fast inserters. And just see how that goes. So you can deliver to that. And I don't know if that's going to be enough, or if there's some other stuff up there that I need. Like, I don't know, maybe I need to send power poles up there, actually. Might have needed to send power poles up there. Whatever, we have plenty of stuff to send another rocket up if we need to, and we're just going to keep this rolling for now. So yeah, the next rocket is already built, so we can go up to here. And we have this, and sure enough, we need power. Alright, so let's... Alright, I don't need to send up that many of you. So let's send up just some other assorted stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe you probably don't need a chest. Probably don't need pipes. What else could you possibly need up there? I don't know. Maybe like a splitter or 2 would be helpful. And I don't know, an underground belt or something. And then just fill up the rest of the space with those. And launch you up there. Actually, I should have just gone up there myself. I have plenty of stuff in my inventory. I could have just done that. Yeah, alright. I think next time I will go up manually. So keep you going. I cannot wait until we have requester chests. Alright. So purple science is going. And automation 3 has spiked up to a pretty decent number now. So now let's look at this. And you have... Oh, wait. No, don't do that. You just dropped that back. Alright, well now I know what shift clicking in that inventory does. Yeah, I need to go up there myself. Or send up like a drone port, maybe? So if you get a roboport and some construction drones, then maybe we'll be able to do stuff remotely up there. And, okay. I mean, I'm going to be heading up there myself anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much what I send up. Okay. Oh, you can't travel to space with items in your inventory, trash slots, or ammo slots. So it does matter. Okay, well, you probably need solar panels, actually. And let's get you some accumulators, too. Because I just remembered that we're going to need power up there. What else? What else are we going to need? Oh, we're going to need our power lines because I sent them back like a fool. Alright, you're going to get fewer construction bots, and that's going to be annoyingly slow, but there. You get some power poles. And then, I guess I need to turn off personal logistics, pop down a box, and just throw all this stuff in the box, and then head up there to deal with it. I need another box. Grab those iron chests. There you go. And there we go. All this stuff goes away. And we need another box, because of course we do. Iron chests are the worst. Alright. Items in inventory, trash slots, or ammo slots. Okay. Ammo slots go away. And up we go. This is exciting. I get to go up on the rocket myself. Up we go, and hopefully I have enough stuff up here to be able to build what I need to build. Alright. We are on the space platform. And let's see, I guess you can't just walk around. Alright, we need you to get powered, which is going to be very difficult without any drone stuff. How do we even do this? Because I'm up here and it is not letting me actually build much of anything up here. Let's see, I must be missing something. I must be missing something, but what am I missing? Alright, where's the rocket? Is there like some tech in here that I needed to build on this? I feel like... Oh wait, do I have to... No, I just can't do anything. I just can't do anything. Show electric network, obviously nothing. Alright, what if I set up solar panels somewhere? I need more foundations for that. What if we just have some space like that, and then that lets us fit in some solar panels, which we obviously can't build. Because why would we be able to do anything? Alright, I am very confused. The drones that I sent up here seem to be missing as well. So that's not great. Alright, I'm going to have to look this up, I think, because I don't know how I'm supposed to get anything started up here. Is there orbital logistics? You want to know something? Yeah, sure. If it's helpful for figuring out how to get this started, then that would be quite helpful. I'm assuming there's just some basic thing that I have forgotten or don't know about. I'm just trying to figure out how to, like... Because I have this asteroid collector, but it's not powered. And I don't quite understand how I'm supposed to get it powered. Because, like, if I try to build something up here, it won't let me. Because I don't have drones or anything. And then I also don't have power, and it won't let me bring stuff up in my personal inventory, so it seems like... So it's done. Yeah, but I can't place solar power. I can't place solar panels because I don't have drones to place solar panels. So, like, I just can't build anything at all. And maybe if I, like, hit some button. Why not send them with a rocket? Well, I did. I could have sworn I sent up a rocket with all sorts of stuff, and some of the things that I sent up were solar panels. Wait, did I... Hang on. Aha. So that's what happened, is that I launched myself up to the space platform, but not the stuff in this particular rocket. Okay, that makes sense. So I guess I just have to go back down. I just have to go back down and then send that rocket properly, and then hopefully it'll work. I wonder where this is going to land me. Hopefully just here. Alright, that makes sense. Alright. We're back. And... Actually, can I just pick this up like that? Yes, I can. Alright, so that is now going. Let's turn that back on for the time being. And then, so this just has to finish off. Alright, so that is going. And it's almost there. Alright, so I thought that if I traveled to the space platform on a rocket, it would also take the cargo of that rocket with me, but I guess it's one or the other. That makes sense, I guess. Alright, so that stuff can go up. And then you just have to keep getting this. Yeah, you use one entire rocket. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I'll just have to note that. So that rocket goes up. Then we can check this out. And it should be arriving here soon. There we go. Alright, so now stuff is getting delivered. And the power pole got placed, the solar panels did not. So why did these guys not get placed in? Oh, I think I know. It's because we don't have... Like, there's like one corner missing there. Alright. This is proving somewhat difficult without requester chests to get this going. And I need to get this going in order to get requester chests. But hopefully we're close. We're very, very close to getting a breakthrough up here. And then we're going to need to do all sorts of stuff to get that back down. Yeah, okay, so I think I've got it almost figured out. I'm still not 100% sure, but stuff is happening. Where is my... Where are these? Why are you not going? Because of a plastic shortage. Alright, so the plastic is because this is not getting any fluid ingredients because... Oh, is this all of the petroleum gas set up? Okay. So I didn't think that would completely brick the entire thing to set that way. That's fine though. We can just put those back. And then plastic will start producing again. Could deconstruct the platforms. Can you do that? I guess probably. Yes, okay. There we go. Alright. We have a solar panel. We have an electrical pole. We have an asteroid collector. It has collected an asteroid. Now we also have some belts and inserters and stuff up here. So we do need just more platform foundations in order to just build anything up there. So let's just send up a batch of 50 of those. And keep this going. We're almost out of low density structures. Hopefully the plastic production going again will get those producing. Alright, so the testing platform. We have the asteroid collector, which has a whole bunch of assorted junk in it. And now we have enough platforms to do things. So we need to take you out and just sort of put you on a belt. New tip, space science. Oh good, that's what I wanted to see. Space science pack can only be produced on a space platform using processed asteroid chunks. Alright, how... Ice, iron plates, and carbon. We're gonna need iron plates up there too. Alright, sure. So let's set up a crusher, which I assume we'll need to just go like there, and we're probably going to need multiple of them. And then they are going to need platforms. Where are those? Here they are. Alright, so those can get set up. We're going to need to send another crusher. But we can do metallic asteroid crushing. We can do carbonic asteroid crushing. We can get those set up. And that goes down there. Okay, it seems like the power pole isn't actually necessary in space. The foundation just connects the power, maybe? Or maybe it is necessary, because that's showing low power now. Is that just because this is all running off of one solar panel? It's probably because it's all running off of one solar panel. Let's get another one in. There we go, multiple solar panels. So we need to send up another crusher. We need to get this output belt. And we need some more platforms to do it. Alright, then we need inserters to go there. And we're just going to sushi belt this. It seems much easier than like figuring everything out individually when we have relatively limited space. All right. So how do you make the white science in an assembly machine? So we have to send an assembly machine up there too. And actually, sushi belting this is going to be a bit annoying because we need to get the ratios all correct. So this makes the iron ore, which we need to just put directly into a furnace. Then the other two things just go directly into this, right? Iron, ice, and carbon. And then these carbonic things. Where are those altered recipes? I don't know. Somewhere in here. Probably make ice and carbon. Okay, and then they might also produce asteroid chunks. So hopefully they just don't. So that goes there. Then this is going to need to actually go out a little bit. Yeah, I know you can't build on empty space. Fine. So then that goes like that. That goes like that. This is actually spaced wrong. So that actually needs to be a long-handled inserter, which I'm going to need to send up. And then we need to take this out, which then is going to need to go into there. And then that will then deliver it all home. So then we just need this stuff to be on platforms. Alright, something like that maybe works. Although, it's hard to say. For now, let's just focus on getting all that stuff sent up. So we need a whole bunch of space platforms, another crusher, and a long-handled inserter. So we can go back down here. We can craft a crusher, and then we need one long-handled inserter. How do we get this to do just one? I know there's a way of like drag clicking the exact amount, but we need one of those, and as many of those as we can send. And we're apparently not going to be able to get this in one launch, because of course not. But it does look like all the stuff we need is producing again, so we should be able to get there. Alright, I really, really want to get right-click with a stack in a slot to add only one. Oh, neat. Cool. I knew there was a hotkey for that, but I just didn't know what it was. Alright, we almost have white science production. And once we have white science production, we can finally get drone systems to not have to deal with all this horrible either belts or just manually dragging things around. We will just be able to have it work. And use a whole lot of power in the process, but that's fine. Alright, so that should be that rocket done. Oh, this can do logistics requests once I have the ability to do that. So that will be helpful. So you can deliver cargo to the testing platform. And then we're going to need to keep this going because we're going to need even more platform foundations. Yeah. Automate everything. Once we have the drone stuff, we will be able to do so much more easily with requester chests than the way we're currently having to do things. Alright, so that goes up. And most of that gets built. Oh, I need to send up like an electric furnace and an assembly machine. And that's probably it. Alright, you need to keep on making rockets. We have a couple more launches potentially. So, electric furnace, where are you? There you go. And an assembly machine 2. There you go. And we need to keep the low density structures coming. I guess let's unlock utility science pack, because that will be helpful. And you keep on going. So what else did this need? It needed a couple belts, but that's just because of the placement things, and yeah, mostly just the foundations. So let's send up another chunk of those. Keep that going. Is there any way... Is this going at max speed? It looks like it, but I can speed module these. So where are my modules? There you go. So those will get speed moduled by some drones once I craft some speed modules. Oh, I actually already have them crafted. I just need to give the drones access to them. There you go. Let's craft up some more. And we did just unlock Assembly Machine 3, which is going to require speed modules. So let's get over here. It's actually, this area is pretty close. Alright, so if we have that row of 4, and we actually, because I don't want to be messing around with quality modules right now, I think I'm just going to swap this over to speed modules so that we have those being produced. Alright, utility science pack finished basically instantly, unsurprisingly. Let's get advanced combinators, which should also be quite fast. Alright, the drones have taken all that extra junk. Now this is probably has stopped producing it for the short term, so we can shove those guys in. And once I have logistics requests and I'm able to just check that box and then have these be requester chests, it's gonna be like 1,000 times easier. It's gonna be so nice. I'm just gonna be able to build stuff and it'll just work. And we are almost done launching this. I want to get white science before the end of the stream. Advanced combinators done. Let's see, what else do I want to get? Inserter capacity bonus, sure. The rocket silo itself will become a requester chest. Yeah, but is that also for like the crafting slots, or is that just for the rocket inventory? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, so now we click deliver cargo. And that is all going to go up. Let's keep this going in the meantime. Just the rocket inventory? Yeah, I figure. So I'm still going to need those requester chests there to actually make the rockets themselves, which is not a big deal. Okay, so we are going to need to do some kind of sorting of these, or just dump the excess off the side of the map. Alright, so that all gets built. Oh, I have to... Apparently I have to just not form a donut. So if we put that in, then that should get everything functional. And now, if I call you White Science Production, you're getting iron plates. And then you are going to be another thing there, and you are there. And then, how do you even tell like how much this grabs per second? Is there just any way of knowing? Probably not. Alright, so... Oh, these also output the annoying other things. Could look at the asteroids flying around, I guess, but that doesn't really give you a number per second, does it? Alright, so what we need to do is we need to actually have like a loop back for these guys. Let's see here. Okay, what we need is, let's just get filters on, and then they can just do like that. And apparently we don't have enough inserters up there. But this is going to do that. This is going to do this. And then this one is going to do this. And then this one is going to do iron ore. This one is going to do carbon. Where's carbon? There. And this one is going to be ice. Alright, so now that the loop back behavior should just work once I have that set up. And then I'm going to need to send that underground over to there. And then I don't know if I need some space for an inserter to send any random junk off the edge of the map that gets through. Alright, inserter capacity bonus is finished. That's cool. Let's queue up night vision equipment, because why not? Alright, now we need to send up another rocket with... what does it even need? It needs just 5 fast inserters. And so let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then probably just fill the rest up with that because we need a lot of it apparently. Night vision equipment done. I can apparently queue up logistics system, although there's no point in doing that while I don't have white science. So instead, let's grab energy shield, because not dying seems like a fun thing to be able to do. And we just keep this going. And then if I check here. So we still haven't produced anything useful there. And this is output full because the fast inserter hasn't been placed, but we do have 20 space science. We have 20 space science queued up and just waiting for this to finish. So let's make sure that it's all topped off. And once energy shield equipment finishes, we're going to swap to logistics system, and we're going to use our white science, which this requires 500, which is quite a lot, but it's gonna be worth it. And then there's just the question of how we get this one wrong thing off of the belt. I guess we can just leave it there. It's probably not causing anything too terrible. Okay, actually, let's not send as much of that and send more of you and some extra belts, because I think we might be low on belts now. So up you go. And that should be everything. We were not super low on belts, but it wasn't great. Alright, I successfully launched that, right? Yes, I did. So it should be up here any second now. This thing is so funny to watch. Alright, energy shield equipment finished. We're queuing up logistics system. We're going to get our white science going. Alright. So this is just depositing a whole bunch of junk off the back of the map. And this is sending white science back. So we have 16 now. And then this is going to be running. Alright, so that's output full. That's output full. That's output full. So the assembly machine itself is the main limiting factor, as well as potentially the asteroid collector. It's kind of a miracle that we're running all of this off of 2 solar panels. I guess it's more efficient than it otherwise would be. Alright, so that is white science going. And if everything up to you is output full, we can, I guess, speed module you once we have the ability to do that. Keep that topped off. And we just need to wait now, I guess. So this will just go. Yeah, solar apparently gives more power. Oh, it gives more power in space? I guess. Yeah, 200% or something. That's handy. That's very useful indeed. Alright, so this is all going. It's going to be a while before it gets the speed modules, but that's fine. And we have 36 space science. Testing platform automatic. Okay, this is for it moving around. Can I just have it... Or maybe this can automatically request... Let's see, if this automatically requests space science, is it going to get pulled from the station? Yeah, on the way 41. Alright, so then we can just set that up. And that goes along. And now we just have to get this into the labs, which I'm not sure what button I just clicked there, but it certainly was not the right one. So you go this way, and you can then just load into that lab. We're not going to be using all of the labs for this, but that's fine. Alright, we have white science production going. And it looks like... Alright, so this is still low power. let's try to place a couple more of those guys in. Alright, so that should be more than enough power now. Assuming nothing crazy happens. Yeah, we have white science, and it is getting produced, and occasionally apparently dropped down to here. So that is a pretty big success. Alright, I think we are going to wrap up the stream there for today. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We have white science, and we are on the way towards logistics system, at which point everything becomes like 1,000 times less awful. So that will be very exciting. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I will be doing Satisfactory tomorrow and back to Factorio on Wednesday. Yep. and that will be that. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. If you have already followed, pretty cool. Thanks for that. And